Her dream 7 years ago was for people to look for Jenny Saron Juan or Jenny's Bougainvillea Garden. With 30 odd pots then and hundreds of them today, that dream has been accomplished and has exceeded all expectations. She owns one third of the varieties available across the globe. She'd permanently put a pot of hot tea and refreshments, pre pandemic of course, for people known and unknown who came to enjoy the breathtaking view of her garden. And thanks to social media, not only do people in Aizawl get to enjoy this spectacular bloom, thousands look forward to seeing her stunning flowers every day. Her way of spreading happiness, hope, joy, beauty, and love is like no other. Proudly presenting Mizoram's pride, the Bougainvillea Queen, she's none other than Jenny Lalramthwani from Aizawl, Mizoram, India. If this is your first time, I'm Candy, your host for the show. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy our chat. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much. A very good morning. Jenny, thank you so much for coming to Candid with Candy. I can't take my eyes off the flowers behind you.
Thank you too for inviting me.
Your house from the beginning to the end is just filled with all your beautiful flowers, and that's what we are here to talk about today. I want to begin the first question with how did this love for flowers begin? That's what I want to know.
Actually, when we were younger, in our school days, when we were kids, we had a big compound in Shillong. My parents used to let us do some work in the garden to learn the method of gardening and to be acquainted with household work and the gardening. And what flowers we had during those days were mainly camellia, were planted in the compound. And then calendula. My sister and myself, we were always dancing around in the compound among the flowers with a sari. And those days we only had Chitrahar in the TV. After I got married, to my husband who is in the agricultural field. His hobby is bonsai, in the art of bonsai. And he's been doing his bonsai for the last 30 years since his college days. And then that automatically came back into the system, that during the childhood days, what I did and what my parents used to let us do. We were posted outside this capital of Mizoram. We were posted in Champhai. Climate there is like a bit like Shillong. It's cold. So what we did there was that we had a small 2-3 greenhouses. So I started my gardening right from the time when we started stay in Champhai. That was in 2000.
2000. So when you were in Champhai, you were obviously a working woman too.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Both you and your husband have been working with children. So basically it started off as a hobby again after so many years. You didn't do it large scale, so you must have had maybe 20-30 pots.
We didn't have enough space for doing on a large scale, and then we had small very miniature greenhouses made on our own, 10 feet by 15 feet, like that, small. 2 of them I got there. But ultimately when we got transferred from there, we had truckful load of flowers carried back to Aizawl with us.
It almost feels like you nurtured the flowers as if they were your own children, from, like you said, maybe 30-40 pots, and taking them all the way from Champhai back to Aizawl when you guys were transferred. What then inspired you to go at such a large scale? One definitely is the space, right?
Initially, when we got transferred from Champhai, we were not in our own house. Okay. I had few bougainvillea, which I counted. They thought it must be coming to around 30 of them.
Okay.
I used to never pass a florist fair without buying one, Okay. And you can never escape a bougainvillea, when they bloom. It's so eye-catching. It cannot be compared to any other flowers, which I know. But unfortunately, the place where I put them up in my house in the quarter, so it was very windy, and there was a tree, which I recall now after coming to our own house here. There was a tree which gave shade to these flowers, and then for bougainvillea, that was the most unsuitable environment to bloom. So they never bloom there. Then when we came down to our own house in 2013, I was astonished. It was blooming so profusely. But mind you, that those days I didn't have the technique of this controlling them, making them a proper shape and all. When you start collecting anything, the tendency comes, you buy one and then the next one comes, then there are around 300 varieties of bougainvillea. And what I have, I think, is around only 80 now. What I used to tell my family, you see, I'm collecting bougainvillea. One fine day, people will be asking, where is P. Jenny's house, where there is so much bougainvillea, it's blooming so well. That was around 7 years, I think. There was one fine day, 2018, the month of December, I think. A family of 8, they came. They said, Jenny, this is Jenny's house. I said, yeah. And these people are mainly people whom we have never met before. We were astonished, who are these people? We don't even know. And then one of my friends was sitting with me to welcome Nisma. She is a neighbor. She thought these people were the people whom I know. And while I was talking, I thought they were her friends. They drank tea, they ate biscuits, and then they took lots of pictures and they went home, and we never came to know who they were. Many occasions are like they came up like that and during the blooming period.
So you have a lot of mystery visitors.
Yes. At one time, we were just jokingly saying, okay, since people come in and visit our beautiful flowers, at least let us collect 5 rupees in the gate.
Like the way you have amusement parks or just parks in general where people, visit. I'm sure your garden has so much of potential for that. See, taking the gate fee or not is completely up to you. But, just giving people that opportunity to really witness something that is so beautiful. Because what you do is nothing short of a wonder, right? Like a 6th wonder, 7th wonder, 8th wonder of the world. At least in a place like Mizoram, 7-8 years ago, your wish was people will look for P. Jenny, who has so many flowers, bougainvillea, and you became that. That is amazing. So congratulations for, this is a huge achievement, and you spread so much happiness. I'm sure even when somebody who's unwell comes and sees your flowers, they will go back feeling well because it's so.
I hope so.
Yeah. No, it's almost therapeutic, right? It's very therapeutic. It's very medicinal. I want to quickly move on to, you mentioned about your husband being in the agricultural department and gardening being something that has been his hobby since he was a young man. By profession or by degree, you are an engineer. Most of the operational work is what you do. You're the one who's getting your hands dirty doing it, and probably he's the one giving you all that guidance from a textbook knowledge, from a scientific point of view. So how does that work? Please let us know.
My husband, as I said earlier, he started very early this bonsai, art of bonsai. Right now, with the numbers of varieties of flowers and plants that I have, and the amounts of bonsai that he has, he doesn't have the time actually physically to help me out. During those times when I have a particular issue with the shaping, then I consult my husband, like, what should I do with this particular one? It's out of my way, it's out of my system to really do it. I need your expertise. So those days he helped me, and then I have another few problems with insecticides. I need insecticides, and he advises me for that. He doesn't say much about what the system of what I'm doing is wrong. So internally he's motivating me that way. He doesn't complain that why are you doing this way. He's the expert, and if he would have kept pressing me with the issues that you're doing it wrong, then I would have been really I would have been down and not been going further with whatever I'm doing right now. And it's so good to be together in one passion, in this hobby. We share our sprayer, we spare the water container, everything.
That's amazing, the way you just explained. I think that is really what partnership is about, not only in terms of, husband and wife, but just as a team, right? I love the fact that though he's the more technical guy, but he lets you do what you want and he doesn't interfere.
Mm.
And only
He
when you,
doesn't interfere.
yeah, when you want guidance, he'll give you that expertise, right? And no wonder, you yourself have been able to bloom, all these years.
And one of the feelings of satisfaction I get is that my flowers are blooming, and on the side of my garden, we have a bonsai garden, which is equally satisfying these friends who comes over. If I just have the bloom, it's totally one-sided. So this bougainvillea and bonsai on the other side, all greens. Bonsai are usually all green. So that way, people really get the feel of a garden because of the bonsai and the bougainvillea.
Yeah,
So
no, that's beautiful. Do you even know how many types of flowers you have?
Near about maybe 100, 90 to 100. But the thing is, with the congestion, as you know, Mizoram is a very rugged terrain. We don't have leveled ground. Everything is built on a hilltop, on a slope. So we have a very few, very congested area for gardening. During the last 4 to 5 years, due to my excessive pruning, I have been rooting them, propagating them. So now around 40% are the mother plant and 60% are on my own rooting. The advantages I have is that I like photography. And photography with flowers is the best hobby ever. So that is one of the reasons why my flowers bloom as much as they do. They know that they're being portrayed to the world. That's the magic I feel in them, especially during this pandemic. As you know, many people are sitting inside their house, and with the depressed atmosphere environment that we have, I feel that I'm giving life to the people who are just in this pandemic environment. At least let them see these beautiful flowers and give them
hope.
What do you call it?
I completely agree with you. Why hide beauty from the world when you have that potential, you have that capacity? I think sharing is so important, and you do that so well. Another thing is, a lot of people talk to their plants and flowers. Do you bless your flowers? Do you talk to them?
Talking, I never talk to them actually. But they know that I care because I spend most of my free time with them. Being with them for 2 hours is a ritual for me. From 5 to 7, plucking, discarding the excessive leaves.
Yes, one more thing you talked about, in the pandemic, how your flowers multiplied with scarcity of vegetables because of, the pandemic and, the lockdown. You also started growing vegetables for your own consumption.
Yes.
What all vegetables did you plant and how successful was it?
Started with cabbage, king chili, lettuce, carrots, and antram, saag.
Mustard.
At the end of after 3 months, the harvesting time came, and you have around 100 cabbage at one go. What do? You can't eat them all. So we distributed all to our neighbors, the hundreds of them.
Wow. One thing that you're also known for, and something that you're very, very concerned about, is the manure that you use, the fact that everything that you do is organic. Can you just spend a little bit of time?
We use maximum cow manure, but then there is this particular decomposed pit we have. It's constructed in 3 compartments, 2 feet by 3 feet each. And what we do is that we collect all our kitchen waste, like banana peels, potato peels, used tea leaves. So we collect them in the container, and then when it's full, we discard all these biodegradable kitchen waste to the compost pit. Then when this one of the compost pit is totally filled, with the raw material from the kitchen as well as from the garden. This garden, the bougainvillea flowers, when they're faded, we cut them. As soon as they're faded, we cut them, and then we immediately trim them according to the shape we desire. So there are lots of leaves and flowers and stems from the garden also. So we totally put them in one compost pit and then cover them with a polythene, so that they get the exposure from the sun as well as from the rain. And then when this first pit is filled, we started filling the second pit. So the continuous process for the 3 pits goes. So by the end of this, when the third pits are filled, the first pit is ready to be utilized. This is one manure which is really treasured in the garden. They are so precious, this manure which we have made. I use it only for particular plants.
You could have gone commercial with what you do, yet you choose to not do it, and you only kind of confine it to your own home, your gardening. On the other hand, you give a lot of free advice to people. I know that you get a lot of phone calls from people, and you never shy away from sharing your knowledge. So I think that's very giving of you, and I think that's very nice of you to do it. So why do you do this?
Actually, what I feel is that when you share, you have it more back, So if you keep these knowledges, maybe my flower won't bloom as much as they are blooming today. So that's the thing. When people come over to my house to see my garden, I usually put one pot for them. Now I taught you how to do it by words. Try to do it in real. So I make people do the practicing even at home, when they come and visit my garden.
The main essence of this was, the joy of sharing. When somebody does something so passionately, though, like the way you do, not for the love of anything else, but for the activity in itself and the happiness that it gives, I think that is passion in its purest form, and that is why you love your flowers and your flowers love you back, as you rightly said. What you do is absolutely beautiful. It's very selfless. You don't do it for money at all, and probably that's why your blessings, your showers of blessings will never end. What advice do you have for people who really want to take up gardening seriously?
Let it be in terms of flowers, floriculture, okay? There are many plants which have come into fashion since the pandemic also, like Calathea, Syngonium, Caladium. But then what I feel is that when you want to buy a particular flower, first study your environment, your house environment. Where are you located? Where are you located? The eastern side, southern side, northern side, western side. So these flowers which you buy from your pocket with all that you have, if they don't do well after you bring them home, then you really feel unhappy, and you waste a lot of money. You be acquainted with the environment that you have, whether it's shady, whether you're getting the sun, whether you're getting partial sun, and depending on that particular situation of your houses, then you choose the plants and the flowers that will do well ultimately. And then another thing is that one of the magic behind a beautiful garden is this: having at least 5 pots of one particular kind. You get my point? If your house is suitable for the house plants, then you have at least 10 pots of peace lily in a row. That brings the beauty in it. Okay. You just have one pot each of one particular variety. That never brings beauty in your garden. So you be particular with the type you want, and then try to have at least 5 of that type. That's the advice I want to give.
Oh, that's valuable advice from Jenny herself. Welcoming Jenny all the way from Aizawl, Mizoram to Candid with Candy's rapid fire round. Are you ready?
Thank you. Ready.
What is your favorite drink?
Tea, chai.
Your favorite festival?
Christmas.
What do you like most about Aizawl?
The weather.
Do you have a garden that you would like to visit, which you've not visited anywhere in the world?
Yes, in Japan. Ashitagi.
Do you have a favorite TV show?
Hindi serials. I watch all the Hindi serials from 8 to 10.
What is the best time of the day for you?
5 to 7 in the morning.
The question is, do you love your plants more or do you love your husband more?
Husband more. The plants are there just because of my husband, actually. So I love my husband more.
Good answer. But thank you so much for your time. It was lovely to have you.
Thank you.
Do check out the rest of my videos. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Ciao.